The little boy was just playing a game with his dad using a toy gun, but unexpectedly the father actually pulled out a real gun and fired at him. At that moment, the sister immediately sensed the danger and hurried over to tackle her brother to the ground, seeing that their father was still shooting at the two of them. The sister suddenly realized father had driven for over 3 hours to bring them to the wilderness. Turns out he was looking for a chance to kill them. To save their lives, the sister quickly led her brother crawling backwards until the two of them crawled to a safe distance of 20 meters away. Only then did the sister dare to carefully raise her head to observe. Unexpectedly at this time, the father had already disappeared and the small car had been burned by the father with gasoline. So in order to survive, the sister told her brother to stay put and not move around while she ran to the car to search for useful items. At this point, she was very clear in her heart. They had to get back to the city as soon as possible. Otherwise, they would definitely die of thirst or starve to death in this barren desert, rarely trodden by people. Very quickly, night fell. The siblings who had walked for an entire day were already parched to the point their throats were smoking, but they had walked too hastily and didn't have time to bring water at all. Helpless in order to conserve energy, the brother and sister endured their thirst and went to sleep early. The next day at first light, sister led her brother and started rushing on their way. In order to clearly see the surrounding terrain, the sister decided to climb to the top of the mountain, but she had just walked halfway up the mountain when she nearly slipped and fell. Fortunately, the two walked very cautiously and finally, great effort, managed to climb to the summit. However, when they reached the mountaintop, the scene before their eyes instantly made their hearts turn to ash. They saw endless undulating mountain ranges in all directions and couldn't see any sign of a city at all. Even more deadly was that the siblings were already starving and parched. Right now they had to find a water source as soon as possible. However, they walked for a long time without discovering any traces of water. With no other choice, the two could only rest on the spot to preserve their strength. Fortunately, at this time, the sister discovered a few drops of water in a broken can, so she immediately gave the water to her brother. After briefly resting and recuperating, the siblings set off on their journey again. Initially, the boy was full of curiosity about everything around him. He followed behind his sister in high spirit. However, in this scorching hot desert, it very quickly caused a large amount of water to be lost from his body. After passing a hillside, the boy lost his footing and fell heavily to the ground. Seeing her brother lying on the ground, starting to give up, the sister hurriedly picked up the scattered item and kept encouraging her brother to keep going, but the brother, who hadn't eaten for 3 days, had no strength at all. With no other choice, the sister could only carry her brother on her back and continue forward. Who knows how long they walked, the sister suddenly saw a patch of green plants ahead. First, the sister thought she was hallucinating until her brother also saw the vegetation ahead. Only then did they walk over. The siblings never would have imagined, not only was there an abundant water source here, but the trees were also covered in wild fruits. The brother, who was starving, didn't even think and drank a few mouthfuls of water, then picked up the wild fruits that had fallen in the water and started chowing down. The taste was really not bad. Only when she saw birds also eating